Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would share with you guys some of the ways that I have adjusted my budget, my family's budget recently to deal with how expensive life is getting. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. Once in a while, I like to sit down and do a little talky video, a little chatty video. So if you like my chats while I'm cooking, you'll probably like this too. And if you have watched my previous cooking videos and the other content on this channel, you know I'm a budget queen. I'm a thrifter. I like to be frugal. I wouldn't say I'm cheap. I would say I'm a frugal person because I like to buy things that last a long time. I like to be careful on how I'm consuming. I like to make smart choices with my money, whether it's how I'm investing or how I'm spending, etc. I have had to really adjust my budget over the last few months. Every year, my husband and I sit down and we talk about the upcoming year, what our financial goals are and all that kind of stuff. And we've had to make some pretty radical changes and they keep just sort of evolving into more changes as gas gets more expensive, as groceries get more expensive, as things are changing, we're having to be a little bit flexible. So I thought I would share with you ways we have adjusted our sort of way we're living, way we're spending, way we're budgeting. And the three categories we're gonna talk about: first, groceries. That's the number one thing because we got 4 people in this house and we gotta eat and it's expensive. Number 2, general lifestyle things that we're doing. And number 3, how we're trying to increase our income because it seems that just saving isn't enough. We're having to try to bring more money in. All right, category 1 is groceries. Now, if you guys watch me, if you're a longtime follower, you already know the basic things here. I always shop at Aldi. I do a Costco run like once a month. I'm a person who has a deep freezer. I like to can. I grow a garden. It feels like I'm already doing all of these things. We never go out to eat. Very rarely do we go out to eat. But I thought I would just give you a few of the ones that we've ramped up in recent months. And the first is that I have been making way more things from scratch. As far as things like snacks, treats, normal things that I would just buy out of convenience, I am making at home. And I know that that seems like a very basic thing to be like, just bake your own bread. But I have found that I buy my flour at Gordon's, GFS. If you're on, I guess, like the east side of the United States, that's mostly what you'll find over there. I'm sure there's another similar sort of like restaurant distribution type store. And I also know you can get flour cheap at Sam's Club and at Costco in large quantities. I buy 25-pound bags of flour for like $10 there. And you can make an insane amount of bread for 10 bucks with 25 pounds of flour. So even the basics like bread, I'm finding is cheaper for me to make than buy the bread at Aldi that's like $1.50. It's like cheaper than $1.50 to use my own flour. I'm now trying to make our snacks as well because I'm finding that like the packaged snacks are just so expensive that it's just like not worth it for me to buy like the bag of Sun Chips and like that sort of thing. So I've definitely expanded my scratch baking into like snack items as well. Things like protein balls where I'll do like peanut butter and honey and oats and I'll make like a little like energy ball out of it. And the kids like those. It's hard when you have kids who like really want specific packaged foods. So I have been really expanding my scratch cooking into snack items and that's actually been pretty fun to explore, and we have found some really good things that the whole family really likes. Nextly, I have really increased the amount of shopping I have done at discount stores. I will always be an Aldi girl through and through. However, I have really started shopping these bin stores, and I'm sure there's one around you because they are everywhere. These stores get like returns and overstock items from like Amazon, Target, Marshalls, like that kind of stuff. And a lot of times they're called the bins. And like a lot of places have different names for what this store might be. But I found several that are not that far from me. And I do shop the bins on some days where it'll be like $10 day, then $6 day, then $3 day. And like everyone waits in line and you have to like shovel through all these bins. But I found that a lot of these like pallet stores or return stores, bin stores, often have a huge section of food that is like almost expired, Sometimes it is a little expired, and sometimes it's just like real random. Like one time at a bin store, it's like an hour away from me, so like I don't go all the time, but I was already over there. They had just like pallets of veggie straws in like individual bags, so like perfect for lunches. And all the boxes and all the bags were just in Spanish. So it's like, I live in Michigan. We don't have a lot of like Spanish in our like grocery stores generally. So it seems like the shipment just got crossed, and they were $3 for cases of 40 veggie straws. And they were just in Spanish. So like, whatever. I bought loads of them and really stocked up. So I'm like really finding like places like Ollie's. If you have a Ollie's around you, you got to really keep your eye out if it's something that could really go bad. But expiration dates, they're just guidelines, guys. And if it's popcorn, then I know it's probably gonna be a little stale. But a lot of things are 1000% fine a couple months expired. It's like not a problem to me. And the last one is buying bulk options whenever possible. I have really increased doing this over the last few months. For Christmas, my husband got me an upright like chest freezer, and I've been prepping and filling that with like large quantity items. I also have like a deep chest freezer, I will say. Like obviously that doesn't work for everybody. I love my freezers, but like I mentioned before, I get the flour in 25-pound quantities. I have like a bin that I got at a restaurant store, like a bin that you would store flour in if you like owned a bakery. It's like a bakery bin, it's huge. And that's where I store my flour. But I've done things like buying a bunch of turkeys right after Thanksgiving when they're like 20 cents a pound. I just like filled my freezer with turkeys, and like I'm doing things like that. And now like this week, money's super tight. We're about to go on vacation for spring break. We're like really not trying to spend a bunch of money on groceries. I pulled out a turkey. We're gonna roast that turkey. We're gonna just eat turkey all week. And then I don't have to spend a ton on groceries this week. I just need a few things like milk and veggies, and we're good. We're good on meat. I can just pull one of those big ones out. So I do that when I find things on sale, like a pork butt. A lot of times Kroger will have those buy one, get one free. I'll throw a couple of those in the freezer. And just like maximizing the bulk opportunities whenever possible. I'm doing that a lot more, and it's definitely giving me the flexibility for those weeks that are like a little bit tight. I just dip into the bulk stuff, and I can basically spend nothing on groceries for a week if I need to, and it's really nice having that flexibility. All right, next we're gonna talk about some lifestyle changes we've made in the Risper household, okay? And the first one has to do with the kids, and that is we are becoming a little bit more selective about the extracurriculars. My husband and I decided when we had kids that extracurriculars were something that was really important to us. We wanted to make sure our kids had opportunities to try different things and to build the confidence and exploring different interests, and that we would really try to pour into that, which we have been able to do up until now. My two sons are ages 8 and 10. And up until now, it's been quite affordable for them to try all this stuff. But now that they're getting a little older, now we all of a sudden have these like league sports that are getting more expensive, and we've had to really sit down and decide like what's important. And I also think it's still a valuable lesson for your kids to make those choices, maybe next year, probably. My youngest is maybe not gonna be able to do 2 types of dance. And he's probably not gonna be able to be on the competition team next year, which he's not interested in yet anyway. So like, thank goodness we got a few more years on that. But right now he's in 2 classes, and it's expensive. So I think maybe next year we might have to go down to 1. And like, nobody wants to tell their kids you can't do everything, but that's how life works. None of us can do everything. And it's important, I think, as a lesson for our kids to have to choose what the most important thing is to them. But on the flip side, another thing we've been doing is just kind of like switching up what we're offering them. So instead of like league sports, we're definitely doing more like community center sports, and we have like a really great program in our area for basketball that is like super cheap. And we also have an incredible tennis program that's run through a nonprofit that's also like so cheap. So my kids are able to do basketball and tennis, and it's not costing us hardly anything. So definitely if you have kids that are interested in all these expensive things like music lessons and all this kinds of stuff, you might have to pare it down, and we're dealing with that. And that's been kind of hard for me to feel like I have to take these things from my kids. But I think we're offering enough where we've kind of found a good balance. Nextly, we are really shifting how we travel. And if you follow me, I would eat beans and rice for every meal of every day if it meant that I get to travel. In my family, we really have travel as a really high priority. My husband and I love a trip to Europe. My kids love a vacation. They love a resort. I am here for scrimping throughout the year and then having great vacations, but we've had to sort of shuffle that around. We usually go to Chicago every year for Mother's Day. We live in Michigan. It's a few hours drive. It's not like a terrible drive. We don't have to fly or anything, but it still is quite expensive to stay in Chicago for a long weekend. And unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do that this year. We've had to really pick and choose. We're doing New York City for spring break, which we paid for last year. We try to pay like the year before for the big trip so that we're never like putting things on credit cards and scrounging, you know, for every dime for travel. We try to plan. So that's already been paid for, but we are not planning a big European trip this year. We're not gonna do anything huge. We do have one trip planned in June. I'm not gonna say what it is though, it's a secret, but I know that some of my kids' friends have found my YouTube channel and I don't want them to know. It's a surprise for the kids. It is not international, but in order to make that happen, we had to cut Chicago. So we're having to make some choices. We're keeping it domestic. We're keeping it road trip friendly. We're doing things more like that instead of these like, you know, Mexico beach vacations. We're having to pare it down. And I think really the key with everyone being cool with that is like, we just have to have a good attitude. It's just as exciting to do something domestic as it is to go somewhere else. And as long as the children are able to see new things, experience new things, go to museums, experience culture, there's tons of it that isn't that far. And we can make that happen with a smile and still get something out of it. So we've really had to shift our travel. And the third big lifestyle thing we're doing, which is kind of a difference from how we've behaved in the past, is we're really prioritizing saving. I'm a person who's always had a nice little nest egg safety net in a high yield savings account just for emergencies. I'm a person who's always had that. So this isn't like a big stretch for me, but we're putting a larger percentage now from each paycheck into that account because things do feel so unstable right now. I would really hate to have to drain that in case of an emergency. And it might not be just like one big emergency. Like we might not lose our jobs or something like big like that. But it could just be like gas going up so high that my husband needs to like get to and from work. He has a really long commute and that's rough. Or the prices of things like going up. I want us to be able to maintain at least kind of what we have. And I want to make sure that that nest egg is there for that reason. So we've really put it way higher on our priority list, where in the past we would have had travel be number one. Right now we've got savings as number one. And any of that money that would have gone to these big trips and travel is going to saving. And I think that that is smart for everybody, whether it's just a few dollars a week you're putting away, something should be put away. We're trying really hard. We're trying really hard to do that. All right, the last sort of category I have is how we're increasing our income, because what we found is that just spending less is not enough, unfortunately. I've had to sort of figure out how to have more money coming in. And I do have a really good sort of setup in our family here. My husband, he's an engineer. He works a 9 to 5. He does work sometimes extra and travels a bit for his job. So we do get a little extra when he does that. But generally, we're getting the same paycheck every week from him. You know, he has good health care for the whole family. You know, he's got a 401k. He's got like the stable, regular, normal kind of job, which gives me the freedom to be a little bit flexible with what I'm doing day to day. I am taking the kids to school, picking them up. I'm, you know, maintaining the home and all of that sort of thing, which does take a lot of time. But it does give me some flexibility. So I get to be the one that tries to get the side hustles going. So I've really tried to kind of up that. So I thought I would give you some of the things I'm doing, and maybe that would, you know, get your brain turning if you need to try to bring in some extra income. So the first thing that I've been doing, you guys, is donating plasma. And I've done this on and off since I was 18. I'm a person that if I want money for something, I'm not gonna immediately put it on a credit card. I'm gonna figure out how to get that cash to make it happen. And sometimes donating plasma is just like the perfect thing. It's not for everybody, right? I know some people, this is like something they would never ever do. And that's totally fine. For me, I'm not bothered by needles. I like the idea that my plasma is going to help someone. I find the process to be not a problem. I do sometimes struggle with having high enough iron levels and high enough protein levels. This is a whole other, story, a whole other saga of my life trying to get that sorted. And I don't have to do it every week. If it's a week that's not gonna vibe with that, then I just don't do it. If it's a week I'm feeling tired, or if I'm on my period, it doesn't feel great for me, then I just don't do it. And I like that flexibility, and I have the time in the day to make it happen. So I love donating plasma, especially because you get paid like on a card that you can pull cash out of, and it's considered a charitable gift, so you don't have to pay taxes on it, which I also really love. So I do that from time to time, and that has really helped with those little extra expenses, having that cash. The next thing I've been doing is I groom a few dogs on the side. If you don't know, my profession, what I went to school for, I am a dog groomer. But as I've gotten older and my joints are getting bad, even though I'm 35, but still, grooming is really, really hard on your body, and I've had a hard time keeping up physically with it. So I'm down to about 1 day a week, which I still get a great paycheck from just that 1 day. It's really a good business. I wish I could do it more, but I'm at 1 day a week there. So what I have done is I've taken a few dogs on the side that I'm grooming from home, just people I know, like friends of my family, that sort of thing. I'm not like out there advertising or anything. And obviously you're watching, you're probably not a dog groomer, but if you have some sort of skill, doing it a little bit on the side to earn a little extra cash is really great. And I'm only doing a couple dogs a month, but even that extra $100, $200, that really goes a long way, especially just to make up for like gas and groceries. So I do think a little bit of a side hustle for a skill you already have, always worth it. The other thing, my husband, he gets a raise every year, but he was a little bit, not pushier or more aggressive. I would say he was a little bit more vocal about negotiating that number. So if you're a person who like every year you get the same whatever, maybe get in there and try to negotiate a little higher, because it really did work for him and we needed it. So that is something that he did earlier this year that really helped out. Another thing I have done to increase our cash flow is I started selling things on eBay, and I really started by just looking around the house and thinking like things I'm gonna get rid of. I just threw them up on eBay, and I'm not like chasing the algorithm and posting 10 things a day, and I'm not paying for advertising. I'm not like full in reseller, right? It's very casual. If I find something while I'm already at the thrift store that I think I can flip, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. If I'm garage selling and I see someone selling, a bag of whatever, I will grab it and throw it on eBay. But I'm not letting it consume me as a job, if that makes sense, because it can be stressful. I did for like a few months, like really go in on it, and I made a lot of money, but it was really stressful and a lot of time and work. So in order to keep eBay not an all-consuming full-time job, I've really just done it on the side, and I still make a couple $100 a month doing that. Nothing huge, but all of these little things added together is making a difference for us, and eBay's been great. And the last thing, this is what I wanted to ask you guys about. Thank you if you've made it this far in this video, because I need your opinion. If you've made it this far, it means that you care. You care about what I have to say, so I need your opinion. So when it comes to what I make here on YouTube, if you've noticed, I very rarely take a brand deal. I do not advertise anything on this channel. I've done it maybe like 3 or 4 times in the like 8 years I've been doing this. And that's because it makes me feel kind of uncomfortable to like sell you guys stuff. I do put like affiliate links. So if you buy like the rice cooker that I suggest on like from my link on Amazon, I get like, I don't know, 5 cents or something like that. So that does trickle in a little bit. And also I make money like from YouTube's like ad revenue. I don't control like what ads they show, but they do give me like a portion of that, but it's not a lot. It's enough for me to keep going. And of course I enjoy doing this, but I know that I could be monetizing in other ways here on the channel. But I have like a question for you guys. I have had a lot of people ask me in the comments about like a cookbook. And I'm not like so sure how to go about that. So here's my question. Would you rather have me have like a cookbook that I like self-publish on like Amazon that you could order from Amazon? Or would you be more interested in like a Patreon where you would subscribe and you could get like printables that you could, you know, like I would post on my Patreon, like exclusive things that you could print and have where you would subscribe? Or would you be interested in like an ebook that you could just download of my recipes? Or if I just had like a website that you could just like buy those things from versus like Amazon. If you could buy like an ebook just from my website, and the website would have like a blog and like things that you could get for free, but also things you could pay for, printables that you could just pay like a la carte for a printed recipe. Does that make sense? Does any of this sound like something you guys would be interested in? A lot of people want a cookbook, and I personally prefer like a physical book. I know I'm like old school analog. I still love a physical book rather than getting things online, but I thought I would just ask what you guys would want when it comes to that, because I know I could be doing more. And I know you guys want it because people ask me all the time for it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm not good enough to write a book, but I totally am, and I totally could. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? And if you're out there, if you're a publisher, send me an email. Send me an email, because ultimately I would love to have like a publisher do it and not have me self-publish something, because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I can figure it out. I'm quite a confident person when it comes to things I don't know. I'm pretty confident I could learn how. So yeah, what's your opinion on that? How would you like best to get that type of content, or do you not care at all? That's also fine. It's okay. You can just watch the videos. I make some pennies every time you watch, and that's totally fine too. But yeah, just wondering, that's all. And there you go. That was my last sort of section, increasing our income. But yeah, guys, times are getting hard around here, and I do feel really lucky and blessed that I have, up until this point, been able to save money and whatnot. We're definitely not like living under the poverty line or anything like that, but I think most people are somewhere in the middle like that, and it is kind of hard because things aren't expensive. So I hope you enjoyed this little deep dive into what we're doing to adjust our budget as things are getting a little more unstable and unpredictable and expensive. Leave me your best tip or trick to save money or make extra money, or anything that you have kind of adjusted in your life that's helped you. I'm really trying to, you know, move with a positive attitude, because I know I'm capable of doing hard things, and I know my family can pull together, and we have a lot of support, and we have a great life, and I know that we'll be okay. But any little tips or tricks you have, I would welcome them. So leave me a comment down below. And of course, make sure you subscribe and come back and watch all of my videos. I really appreciate all of you so much. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in my next one. Bye.